and an important game for the Bills, I would think, Dan.
Well, the most important thing, aside from the weather, is the fact that the Bills have a chance to clinch their title tonight. And if they do that, then there'll be 2 in a row for them. The big thing about the weather, it's going to be windy, it's going to be snowing, it's going to be real cold down there, but this is Buffalo Bill weather, and that's all that's important. They have the #1 guys in passing, running, and receiving in the AFC. A lot of weapons on offense.
Now the Saints are at the other end, really. They're hanging by a slim thread, perhaps out of the playoff contention after today. They had a closed-door meeting after their shocking loss to Detroit last week. And now big move to this week, and John Forcade gets the call at quarterback in place of Bobby Hebert. Do you agree with that move?
Well, I really do, and it's because the Saints have got to do something to salvage their season. Bobby Hebert is a quarterback that appears to have his confidence completely shot. So Jim Mora says his team is able to fight back from adversity. He's going to go with a new leader today, John Forcade, who will get out of that pocket, run around a lot out there. He's going to be chased down by Bruce Smith quite a bit, but he still has an outstanding running back to give the ball to, Dalton Hilliard.
Moments ago, they had the sweepers out to clear the field of the snow. We have a tremendous wind-swept snow afternoon. Temperature is 27 degrees. The wind chill is 10 degrees, and the wind is gusting 25 miles per hour going from left to right as you see the game. So those are the conditions we have as we start this game, as the Buffalo Bills 6-1 this year at home
University games will hold their opening
go against the New Orleans Saints, who have had an up-and-down year.
93.
And these are brave fans, and even though, Dan, this is their first non-sellout in 17 games, 70,000 is plus here, is pretty good here in Western New York, and they'll brave the elements as they do all the time.
Well, and you see the John Deere Zamboni machine out there trying to get this snow off the field. That's an uphill battle for the guy running that machine all day long. Also, along the side of the field, a lot of snow has accumulated for about the last 2 weeks, and that snow there is so hard, they had difficulty removing it. They decided to just leave it there. And if a player runs into that, he's going to feel it, like running into a ton of bricks.
They expect a defensive battle today. Both teams are pretty good defensively, and especially with the weather conditions. It'll be tough for kickers, passers, and everyone perhaps except for people like Thurman Thomas and Dalton Hilliard.
And another thing it might affect are the guys that are snapping the ball on both teams in the shotgun formation. Look for the Saints not to go to the shotgun with Forcade because of the fact that the wind is gusting up to 20 miles an hour.
Bills win the toss, and Martin Anderson will be kicking off, getting his left cleat in order. Ronnie Harmon and Don Beebe are back there.
Interesting decision on Buffalo's part to take the ball after winning the toss. With this win, they might have been better off kicking off.
We'll know soon. Don Beebe will let the ball bounce, go over his head, and will down it in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, that was real good patience on Beattie's part, waiting for the ball to cross that goal line before he went down and downed it.
Jim Kelly, who's coming off an off game in the loss to Seattle on Monday night, still with 21 touchdown pass, only 11 interceptions. The offensive front, Will Wolford, Jim Richard, Ken Hull, Joe Devlin, and Howard Ballard. Pete Metzelaars is a tight end. Thurman Thomas and Larry Kinnebrew, the running backs. Andre Reed and James Lofton, the wide receivers. 1st and 10 on the 20. After considerable shifting, Thurman Thomas. Buffalo going against the best rushing defense in the NFL, but they'll have to keep it on the ground anyway at times. This is the New Orleans Saints defensive group. Frank Warren, Jim Wilkes, and James Gethers, the front three. Outstanding linebackers, maybe the best in the league. Ricky Jackson, Sam Mills, Vaughn Johnson, and their pass rusher specialist, Pat Swilling. Robert Massey and Toy Cook are the cornerbacks. Gene Atkins and Dave Lamer the corners, and we'll see a lot of Brett Maxey and Milton Mack. 2nd down and 10. Kelly up the middle, and the pass is picked off. It was a fumble, and it was picked off by Pat Swilling.
Intercepted.
In and out of the hands of Keith McKellar, the tight end, and the Saints catch a big break early.
Pass over the middle to Metzelaars. McKellar rather, number 84, and this is just pure bad luck. Kelly puts the ball perfectly on his shoulder. Ball bounces right in the hands of Swilling, and the Saints get the first break of the day, and a big one for a team that needs it.
They sure do. 6 and 7 trying to get to 500, and the first interception of the 12-yard line of the Bills. Dalton Hilliard pushes forward and gets inside the 10-yard line.
Bentley made the stop.
Ray Bentley and Darrell Talley make the tackle for the Buffalo Bills.
It'll be 2nd and 5.
Kevin Haverding. The man in the middle. Hobie Brenner, the tight end. In the backfield, Hilliard, Buford Jordan, the fullback. Eric Martin and Lonzel Hill are the wide receivers. Brett Perriman has replaced Hill right now on 2nd down and 5 on the 7th. Hilliard again, and he dives inside the 5-yard line.
Art Still made the
That'll
stop.
bring up 3rd down. Art Still makes the tackle. Veteran teams with Bruce Smith, great pass rusher. Fred Smerlas, the veteran nose tackle for the Bills. The linebackers, Scott Radisick playing for Cornelius Bennett, Shane Conlon, Ray Bentley, and Darrell Talley. And in the secondary, Kirby Jackson and Nate Odoms are the cornerbacks. Leonard Smith and Mark Kelso are the safeties. On 3rd and 2, the ball at the 3, double tight end with John Tice in the game for the Saints. Fake pitch to Hilliard. Forcade will flip it to a wide open Hobie Brenner or John Tice, and a touchdown for the Saints. But there's a penalty marker down.
For the New Orleans touchdown. There's a flag.
And it apparently is against New Orleans, and that'll nullify the score. Referee today is Dick Jorgensen. And we'll have a push-off, pass interference against the offense.
Some type of illegal pick down here. Very common to have this called on the goal line. One way to get a tight end as free in the end zone as Tice was that time is to pick him with your outside receivers.
Interference, number 84, offense, 10 yards,
Very costly penalty on Eric Martin, the wide receiver. A 10-yard penalty will bring up 3rd down and 12 with the ball on the 13-yard line.
That would have been a Cinderella start for John Forcade, his first pass going for a touchdown.
Bills have allowed only 3 scores following the last 10 turnovers, so their defense has been awfully tough indeed.
Very good nickel situations as they are right now.
3 tight ends, including Greg Scales, Tice, and Brenner for the Saints. Forcade with tough footing, fires up the middle to Tice. Touchdown, New Orleans, and they made it count that time, and there are no flags down.
Oh, there's a happy quarterback. John Forcade did an excellent job of waiting for Tice to get open, and then Tice made the tough catch in traffic on the goal line. A little play-action pass here, as this is what the Saints want to do. They want to move John Forcade around a little bit where he feels comfortable. Watch the great protection, and then the nice catch by Tice as he gets leveled just inside the goal line.
You think this guy was happy in his first start since '87?
Well, he's thrown 2 passes today. Both of them ended up in the end zone. Not bad.
Morton Anderson, who has missed just 1 conversion, holding his Forcade, and he bobbles the snap. Not much Anderson can do, and he'll have to settle for 6 points.
You know what he should have done is he should have drop-kicked it right there. Instead of trying to run with it or pass it, just drop-kick it through the uprights. It would have counted.
No extra point. New Orleans.
I'm sure they practiced that on Friday down in New Orleans.
I bet they do next week.
Since the replacement games in '87, throws the touchdown pass 11 yards to Tice, and it's 6-0 Saints. Fine start for the new quarterback of New Orleans. A brief scoring drive, just 11 yards. And it was all set up on the fumble by recovery by Pat Swilling.
The interception, the ball deflected off the shoulder pad of McKellar right into Swilling's hands, and he took it down to the 11. The one thing we're going to see today is the team that has the wind at their back will be able to pass for 2 reasons. Obviously, the wind is at their back, but the pass rush is going to be almost negligent because of the poor footing for the defensive linemen in this dusting of snow.
The ball is blown off the tee again by the wind. And, of course, the Bills went on offense first with the wind in their face.
Yeah, I think that may come back to haunt them because, or at least they may feel, Marv Levy must feel that, hey, listen, we have this wind almost every Sunday here in western New York. Not going to be a factor, but we've seen it already is.
Milton Mack has to hold for Anderson as he kicks off. Ronnie Harmon and Don Beebe back there, and it's Beebe with great speed, runs it out and gets it out to the 30-yard line and beyond, where Craig Hayward makes the tackle. So Kelly, who threw his 12th interception of the season, will bring out the Bills again on the 31-yard line. Tough game for Jim Kelly last week. And as you heard on the NFL Today, had some comments about what he thought was a predictable offense run by the Bills. Of course, they got to where they are with the offense they had. Considerable shifting going on by the Bills. First down, Thurman Thomas gets a couple. Wayne Martin, the rookie, makes the stop. Thomas leads the AFC in total yards, having a brilliant season for the Bills.
You know, and getting back to what Kelly said about being less predictable, he's really going to have a tough argument as far as when he goes to the coaches and say, let's open this up, because all they are is the #1 team in total offense in the AFC. Andre Reed's the #1 receiver, Thomas the #1 runner, and Kelly's the #1 passer, so he's got a tough argument there.
Well, Ted Marchibroda, their offensive coordinator, says when you catch the passes and you get the games and win the games, no one complains. Second down and 7. Thurman Thomas slips, loses his footing. So you can see that even in weather like this, it's not going to be easy just to run the ball. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8, a loss of a yard.
Well, and the thing that Thomas does very well, as does Dalton Hilliard, is they're very good at cutting back against the grain. Well, today there's not much grain out there, a whole bunch of snow. They're going to have difficulty all day long trying to cut back. They're going to just have to outrun people to the corners.
Marv Levy, who led the team to a 12-4 record a year ago, 8-5 right now. 3rd down and 8. 4 wide receivers in there out of the shotgun. And Frank Wright. And the pass is complete to Andre Reed. Jim Kelly completes the pass. Brett Maxey on the stop.
Kelly did a nice job of taking that free play. Swilling was way offsides.
Offside, number 56, defense,
It'll be a first down.
This is Swilling, number 56. He and all his buddies are offsides. Ricky Jackson on the other side. But here's the reception here now for Andre Reed. And he has the first down. Kelly, smart quarterback, going through with the play, knowing that he had a free down to work with.
Swilling already with an interception, his first of the year, leads the team in sacks. One of the leaders in the NFL. It'll be 1st and 10 now for the Bills on their 43-yard line. Thurman Thomas with his best game. Gets close to midfield. Stopped at the 49-yard line of the Bills by Jim Wilkes and Dave Waymer. Saints using Wayne Martin, their rookie, who has not played all that much, highly touted pass rusher in the college ranks. There's Martin. It'll be 2nd down and 4, just short of midfield. Quick toss is thrown over the head of James Lofton. Lofton also lost his footing, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Lofton from Stanford going against another Stanford grad, Toy Cook, out there, and that ball was well overthrown by Kelly. It appeared that it slipped out of his hand, but I believe that if there's any quarterback in the NFL that can handle this wind because he has a strong arm, it's this fella right here, Jim Kelly.
I know you would have loved to have played in this weather in your career.
I like watching these on television.
Ronnie Harmon, the running back, on 3rd down and 4. And Kelly's pass is complete to Thurman Thomas out of the backfield, and that'll be a first down and a gain of 15 yards into Saints territory.
The pass protection should be pretty good all day long for the quarterbacks. Very difficult for these defensive linemen to get any traction to get going up the field. What happens here is that you've got these great big offensive linemen that can just take a couple of steps back. They weigh so much, they're so strong, that speed is no longer the factor. It's pure brute strength.
And a first down on the Saint 36. New Orleans leading 6-0. Here's Thurman Thomas off of left tackle. Brings the ball to the 34-yard line. Vaughn Johnson making the tackle.
And talking about pure brute strength and a lot of weight, here's Pat Swilling, number 56, fighting off the block of big Larry Kinnebrew, who's like a pulling guard in the backfield. Goes about 265 pounds. That's a mismatch for the Bills there.
Saints number 1 in the NFL against the rush. Against the Bills, the second best rushing team in the league. Something's got to give. Second down and 7. Thurman Thomas breaks the tackle and is going to be shy by about 5 yards or so. Jim Wilkes, the nose man, makes the stop on Thomas.
Number 69 is Will Wolford working on Swilling this time, and Kinnebrew. Just enough of a seam for Thomas to get through, but nice pursuit by Wilkes as he comes down the line of scrimmage.
Saints taking advantage of a Bills turnover, an interception deflected from McKellar into the hands of Swilling, setting up the only score thus far. Third down and 4 at the 30 of New Orleans. Kelly with a fake, chased by Ricky Jackson, fumbles, and the Saints have recovered again. James Geathers makes the fumble recovery. And Ricky Jackson is celebrating Christmas early, and I think it was Jackson who caused the fumble with the tackle.
The little boy and Ricky Jackson, but how many times have we seen this year where a linebacker comes through, chases a quarterback or a running back down from behind, and then swipes the ball out of their hand with his right hand like a karate chop, and that ball's on the ground, and Geathers has it. The Saints got 2 turnovers.
Here's a team that plays in a dome, and they look like they can handle this weather better than Buffalo so far. Is that thing alive or not?
I know it's gold.
Saints following the fumble by Kelly and the recovery of a first down on their 33-yard line. Buford Jordan hit and gets maybe a yard, that's all, and the Bills trying to strip the ball away from Jordan. Bentley on the tackle for Buffalo.
Well, they say you should play this game for fun. This is Ricky Jackson on his second forced fumble of the year, sliding into second with a pop-up slide, and that really does look like fun.
Better watch out for the hidden ball trick. 2 turnovers by Buffalo. Leon Seals comes in with a 4-man defensive line on 2nd and 9. Dalton Hilliard gets by 1 defender, but Leon Seals almost drove him to Syracuse, and it was Ray Bentley who was the first man to miss him, but Seals made sure, and a loss on the play.
You know, we talk a lot about the Saints linebackers. Well, this crew here, the Buffalo Bills, they can play some defense with some linebackers as well. Bentley is the first to miss, but he sets him up for Seals, and Seals does a nice job there of just throwing him to the ground and not taking him all the way back where he might have picked up a personal foul.
Well, they mark the forward progress back at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 9 at the 34. Craig Hayward is in as the 1 running back out of the shotgun. Forcade's pass, and I believe it's caught by Brett Perriman, and a fine catch and a gain of 15 yards. And where did Perriman play college ball? Well, the University of Miami, of course.
And I'm sure he didn't see a whole lot of these days down there, but Forcade's very impressive so far. This is his 3rd pass, and it may wobble a little bit, but it is on the mark. And Perriman did a nice job of adjusting to it, and the Saints don't appear to be bothered at all by these weather conditions.
6 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. 6-0 Saints. They have the ball in the first down at midfield. Hilliard loses the ball, and Forcade. Now the Bills may have taken it away. from Forcade. A lot of pointing going on. We'll wait for the men in the striped shirts. And the Saints recover.
It'll be tough hanging on to the ball all day long. Dalton Hilliard will get it punched out as he stood up at the line of scrimmage here. Art Still is one of the guys in here, but Forcade gets this ball, and then he gets drilled by Bentley and really does a nice job of hanging on to the ball. Watch Bentley come in and zero in on him. And that ball is free for a second, but Forcade was aware of where it was and got the recovery.
Loss on the play, 2nd down and 14. Eric Martin in motion. Forcade flips it to Hilliard. Easily gets by one defender, and a big gain for Hilliard. He may go all the way. Touchdown Saints. 54 yards. And for Dalton Hilliard, that is his 16th touchdown of the year, an NFL leader.
Well, the key to any great running back is his balance, and Dalton Hilliard has better balance than most. Low center of gravity, and watch this one move here on Smith. He's done, and now it's just pure speed. Gets a great block from Eric Martin there on Kelso, and then Dalton Hilliard's in the end zone.
Now let's see what happens with the adventure of Morton Anderson, as Dalton Hilliard with his 16th touchdown combined this year. Forcade will hold. They missed the first time around, but not this time, and Anderson's kick is good. And right now, the Bills, who need the win in the race against Miami and the rest in the AFC East, find themselves trailing the Saints 13-0. And the touchdown for Dalton Hilliard, 54 yards. Pass, mostly run, and now with his 16th touchdown has taken the lead over Jerry Rice of the 49ers. You see Thurman Thomas of Buffalo 5 behind him, but Hilliard leads the league right now. Morton Anderson will be kicking off. Ronnie Harmon and Don Beebe ready to return the kick. It's a short kick, and it's picked up by Beebe. Trying to turn the corner, but he's not going to be able to do it. Robert Massey is there to make the tackle for the Saints. I think they went to the North Pole to practice for this game, New Orleans. They look like they're really acclimated to this weather.
Well, I tell you one thing is that their quarterback, John Forcade, is taking full advantage of his opportunity. He's thrown 3 passes, completed all 3, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, and remember, he had 1 called back. Well, that's a hot hand on a cold day.
People in New Orleans will be saying, where's he been? Thurman Thomas gets decent yardage on first down from the 25. Atkins and Geathers on the tackle. So thus far in a game dominated by the weather, 2 Buffalo turnovers have resulted in 2 Saints touchdowns. Interception by Pat Swilling and a fumble recovery, and Forcade got the yardage. And 2 TD passes. Now let's see what Kelly does to respond. It'll be 2nd down and 6 on the Bills' 29. They go to Thomas, and Thurman Thomas
carried again.
Close to first down yardage.
Made the start.
James Geathers makes the tackle for New Orleans.
Again at 3, it's 3rd and 1.
Dallas and Philadelphia, no score in the first quarter. Minnesota, front of Atlanta, 7-0. You know, they're tied with Green Bay for the lead in the NFC Central. Packers and Chiefs, no score. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Bills. Great tight ends. Pete Metzelaars joined by Keith McKellar and Butch Rawls. Thurman Thomas hit. Let's see where they spot the ball. They inch closer to first down yardage, and it may depend on where they spot it.
We're going to have a new meaning for the word unpiling today.
That's right.
We have bodies and snow and everything.
We're going to have a measurement to see whether the Bills have the necessary yardage for the first down. You know, it's amazing that when they talk about a conservative and predictable offense, where you have the leader in rushing, passing, and receiving, I guess they got to be throwing the ball sometime.
Well, and they must be doing something right. But Jim Kelly, his roots go all the way back to a very wide open style of play at the University of Miami, and of course he had a fabulous career in the USFL. And they're going to come up just a little bit short here. So Kelly, he likes to throw the ball. A great arm. I'm not so sure he likes the way things are going, though, so far this afternoon.
He told us yesterday that if he doesn't get the play quick enough from the sidelines, he's going to audible into a pass, which is what he wants to do maybe on every down.
Spoken like a true quarterback. You can get anybody to hand the ball off.
You even did that once in a while.
Just when I was tired.
Bobby Morris goes back, and John Kidd will come in to punt. They're short of a first down by inches. It is very difficult to find the exact yard markers out here with the snow covering the field, and they have a clearing. Top priority would be the goal line and the sideline area. Here's John Kidd. He's a good bad weather kicker.
He better be.
That means he kicks a lot of end over end. Morris is going to let it go, and it's a good kick for the Bills, and it will die right around the 20-yard line. In fact, on the 20. 46-yard kick, maybe. Everything is a maybe today with the snow on the field. We'll take a timeout. From Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, weather and the snow very much of a story here, as the Saints have taken advantage of 2 Buffalo turnovers to move in front of the division-leading Bills 13-0. These fans want something to cheer about, and they try to clear off the sidelines and the goal lines, I notice, more than any other part of the field, Dan.
And the 4 players are out there trying to dig footholds for themselves in the middle of the field.
Forcade on 1st and 10 on the 20 will face a 4-man front. Dalton Hilliard, who has scored a touchdown, tries to break away from a Mark Pike, who had grabbed a hold of his jersey, and Darryl Talley made the tackle after a gain of 1.
They're the goal lines. This will make it easy for the replay officials. The trouble is for the players to get all the way down there where they get some good footing. As you can see, it's turning into sort of a frozen pond.
2nd down and 9. Craig Hayward joins the backfield. Dalton Hilliard gets knocked back. I think his forward motion should be at about the 25-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Saints. Mark Pike makes the tackle. Thus far, the Bills have used all 6 of their defensive linemen. They started with Still, Smerlas, and Bruce Smith, but we have already seen Seals, Jeff Wright, and Mark Pike in the game.
And we also have seen that Craig Hayward is in the game, and I would expect to see him quite a bit today. He is a big fella. He's a fullback type. This is definitely fullback type of weather.
Shoulder pad leaking out of the jersey of Dalton Hilliard has been a busy man. 3rd down and 5. On a play fake, Forcade's pass nearly intercepted by Kirby Jackson, and the pass was intended for Kobe Brenner, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, Forcade gets lucky here because this should have been an intercepted pass. The fake to Hilliard's not going to bother anybody on 3rd and 7. This ball goes right through the hands of Kirby Jackson. Questionable whether Hayward would have made the catch because there are a couple other Bills on their way.
Tommy Barnhart will be kicking. Mickey Sutton.
They're 1 shy out there, trying to get a guy on before this 45-second clock goes down.
They got him on in time. Barnhart's kick away from Sutton. And penalty markers are down, and Sutton is out of bounds back at the 30-yard line. That kick went 43 yards, but there's a penalty, and the referee, Dick Jorgensen, will explain it to us. Bills losing to Seattle Monday night. It was their first loss of the year when the defense gave up 20 or less points. Penalty will be against New Orleans. They'll be kicking this again.
Some type of illegal procedure. I would guess that the man did not
Illegal
report.
formation. Number 28 offense played an ineligible position and did not
You're right.
report his change of position. The penalty is declined. First down.
They declined the penalty, and the Saints went back.
Why would they decline a 43-yard punt? Why wouldn't they make him kick it over? There's so many things that can go wrong today. We've already seen a bad snap on an extra point. Let's put some more pressure on the center of the Saints. Make him throw another strike back to the punter. The guy's got to catch the ball, and he's got to kick it. 43 yards is fantastic.
And Barnhart, or any kicker, could lose his footing, and it could be real disaster. So this is a gift for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, it really is. On a day like today, I think that's a big mistake on Marv Levy's part.
The Bills will begin from their 32-yard line as the skies begin to brighten just a bit. 13-0 with 2:29 remaining in the first quarter. The Saints lead. Thurman Thomas is wide out to the left. And on first down, Larry Kinnebrew, the bruising fullback, busted out beyond the 35-yard line, and the tackle is made by the free safety, Dave Waymer.
Kinnebrew should get the ball quite a bit this afternoon. With his heft, and as you can see, he's not doing a bad job for a guy that primarily is used in short yardage situations, almost a 4-yard average.
And that did not go unnoticed among the Saints linebackers. They were impressed with that figure. Second down and 4. On a delay, Thurman Thomas looking for room. And he may have enough for the first down beyond the 40-yard line. Tackle is made by Pat Swilling.
The biggest problem these backs and everybody really is going to have today is traction. Watch how Thomas starts off kind of like Walter Payton there, picking his feet up very gingerly and then seeing the hole and getting through it and getting close to the first down. Looked a little bit like Walter Payton there with that little hippity-hop step.
Well, Payton did that on dry turf most of the time.
Who are those guys?
Your friendly reporters. Undercover, but a little chilly nonetheless. On 3rd and 1, 3 tight ends in there for the Bills. Kinnebrew gets the call, and the Saints may have knocked him back. It'll all be on the spot. No, it is a first down at the forward progress.
Well, I think you called it right, Dick. The Saints gave Kinnebrew the first down. Watch how the linebackers come in here and then push Kinnebrew over the yardstick there, just enough for the first down. Swilling appears to be the guy that's going to give him a great assist here. Just enough.
Winding down to a minute remaining. Now Thomas lines up to the top of the picture. Running back to the receiver. Again, Kinnebrew up the middle trying to move the pile, and he does to the tune of about 3 yards. That'll bring up second down, so they're moving Thomas away and letting Kinnebrew do it all himself, and having a defender having to watch Thurman Thomas outside as a receiver.
It's a very conservative attack so far, but under these conditions, it's a good idea. We've already seen an interception on a pretty good throw by Kelly that bounced off the tight end's shoulder pad. So this kind of attack, giving the ball to Kinnebrew behind that offensive line, is a good idea.
Second down and 6. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Ball at the 46 of the Bills. Kelly's pass is complete to Pete Metzelaars, and the tight end gets into Saints territory for a 12-yard gain and a first down as the clock runs out in the first quarter. So the chilled fans here at Rich Stadium have something to cheer about for a change. And after the first quarter of play, it's the Saints 13, the Bills nothing.
Drive it to believe it. Nikon, we take the world's greatest pictures. And by Miller Lite, America's favorite light beer, brings you the Miller Lite All-Stars Super Bowl.
$13 to nothing. The New Orleans Saints lead the Buffalo Bills as we start the second quarter here in Rich Stadium. Crowd upwards of 70,000, but they did not sell out, mostly because New Orleans and many NFC teams are not a big draw up here. the forecast wasn't that promising for the weather as well.
And my question for the guys running the tractors, why aren't they going down the middle of the field where the players are playing? There's a few wide receivers out there that are very, very grateful for the fact that they're clearing off 10 yards from the sidelines. But it has stopped snowing, so that's a good sign.
First down on the 42-yard line. The Bills start the second quarter, and they're going to try to go deep on the first play, and it's caught for a touchdown to James Lofton. "42 yards. That's the way to get the Bills back in the game.
Well, I think Kelly saw where the traction was good out on the flank, and he throws a perfect pass to Lofton. His second catch for a touchdown for the Bills. And I hate to say it, but the old fella taught the youngster a thing or two on this. Watch the concentration, looking it in all the way, cradling it with his body, and a safe slide in the end zone.
James Lofton, the veteran that came over from the Raiders, had been with the Packers, 33 years old, like a coach on the field, according to Jim Kelly. And now Scott Norwood, who has clicked on 118 conversions in a row, will try to cut the lead to 6. John Kidd will hold for him.
Some type of discussion down on the field, and I have no idea what it's about. Looked like a touchdown to me.
After review by replay, the play stands 6 points.
They were looking to see if his feet were in the end zone. Well, he's not even close to being touched by Cook or out of the end zone. Easy call for the 6.
Doesn't hurt to take another peek, though, Dan. Anyway, here's Norwood.
I just hate the delays.
You've got a lot of company. And the kick is blocked and missed off to the left. So we've already had 2 missed conversions, and Scott Norwood's string of 118 in a row goes by the boards. And the Saints lead is 13-6.
He jumps the turnstiles here, gets in on Norwood, and blocks this one. Good determination, hit his right arm, and just deflected it wide.
Well, here's the NFC playoff summary. The Saints would be eliminated with a loss to the Bills, or if the Eagles win their game. San Francisco is in the best shape of all. Philadelphia with a tiebreaker over the Giants. Wild card, 9 teams are alive, and right now the Giants and the Rams lead at 9-4. We'll take a look at the AFC playoff situation. 642 possible scenarios.
And I want to hear them all from you.
All right, after the game, on the way to the airport. Here's the wild card story. Right now, the Cleveland Browns and the Raiders lead in the wild card race. Scott Norwood will be kicking off for the Buffalo Bills. Back deep, Ron Harris and Gene Atkins, Bobby Morse, 3 men back for the Saints. Harris is the man in the middle. Short kick, and it's going to be Morse at the 16. And Morse is down at about the 33-yard line by Matt Munger. So the Bills score 5 seconds into the second quarter on a 42-yard touchdown pass from Jim Kelly to James Lofton. They missed the extra point.
The very first play after they changed sides of the field, Kelly got the wind behind him, and he let rip with a perfect touchdown pass.
Saints start out on the 32-yard line. John Forcade with 2 touchdown passes already. Rolling out up the middle. The pass is caught by Eric Martin. And Martin carries a defender another 15-20 yards inside the 35. Nate Odoms makes the stop at a 35-yard gain on a pass from Forcade to Martin.
And the Bills are in a zone defense here as Martin, number 84, comes down on the square in. Forcade has excellent protection again. Look at the hole in the defense. sometimes you have to play conservatively when you have bad footing. The Bills went to the zone that time.
Martin, the leading receiver on the Saints. First down now on the 33 of Buffalo. Here's Dalton Hilliard going outside, and Hilliard will go out of bounds at the 29-yard line, pushed by Kirby Jackson and Leonard Smith in the Buffalo secondary.
Saints are playing outstanding football. You kind of wonder if they've got something against AFC teams, because they have a 10-0 record last couple of years against the AFC. And Jim Mora, he talked about, he was a little defensive yesterday when we talked to him, but he said his team isn't going to quit. No time to panic. We're just trying to make some big plays. Big plays have gone against us all year long.
Second down and 6 and 5, that is, on the 29. Forcade dumps it off to Hilliard. Hilliard is driven back, will be short of a first down by about 3. Shane Conlon making the tackle.
Kirby Jackson and Shane Conlon make a stop.
And then one thing Jim Mora told us immediately yesterday, he says, you know, we may be 6 and 7, but that's not all that different than 8 and 5. That's a 2-game difference. And he says, I'm not going to let this thing get us down right now.
And those 2 games, if you go back just the last 2 weeks, that crushing loss to the Rams where they had a 14-point lead with 4 seconds to go really set up last week's loss to the Lions.
It'll be 3rd and 2, 3 tight ends for the Saints on the 26. Forcade, plenty of time, will run and get the first down and more, and is tackled inside the 15-yard line by Leonard Smith, but it'll be a Saints first down. And Forcade runs 13 yards and looks like a seasoned pro out there.
Well, this is really his element. He's played in the Canadian Football League. He's played in the USFL. He's played in the Arena League. He's even played flag football the last couple of years. So this is an unstructured type of game today where anything can happen. Good athletic ability, running ability for Forcade here puts the Saints in excellent position.
Double tight end on first down on the 13. Wide receivers to the left. Dalton Hilliard hit at the line of scrimmage and wrestled down by Leon Seal. Well, where has John Forcade been? He's been in every league that's existed.
Well, he's been all league because he's played in all of them. But the arena football here was a chance for him to stay in shape and keep his hope alive of being a starting quarterback in the NFL. You got to give the man a lot of credit for battling through a lot of adversity. He's never been a #1 quarterback. He's rarely been a #2 quarterback. Right now he's got the Saints moving.
He's 5 for 6. Came in having thrown only 17 passes all year. Second down and 10. He could run. He's got one man. That one man may get him. Passes, fires, tipped, dropped. Perriman might have been the man who had 2 chances to make a touchdown catch, and he couldn't do it.
I'm really impressed with the arm strength of Forcade. The coaches told us he had one, but they say that about almost any quarterback. But he put that ball right in Perriman's hands, and it appeared that Perriman had a chance to get the rebound. But watch how the offensive line protects Forcade just long enough, and now he spots Perriman on the goal line and lets rip. Ball bounced twice off of Perriman. But that is a tough blow. You got to wonder how many shots you can take like that outside the pocket.
3rd and 10. And Forcade will use up a timeout now as the clock ran down, had about a second left. So an alert move by John Forcade, who, by the way, is 29 years old, the same age as Bobby Hebert, who's sitting this one out. Saints lead and use up their first timeout. And kind of a game that previous results and statistics and tendencies just throw them away because the weather conditions here have changed all of the strategy. John Forcade, after calling a timeout, has a 3rd down and 10 on the 13. Out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers. And he's hit from behind by Bruce Smith. No gain on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down.
That's one thing that the Saints coach is worried about with Forcade is would he stay in the pocket. That was the first pass that he has been asked to throw from the pocket. He got out of it as quick as possible. It looked like it was almost a quarterback draw.
Morton Anderson on to try a field goal attempt. Unable to convert on the first touchdown, and then was successful on the second. This will be a 31-yard attempt with John Forcade holding. And the kick is good. And Morton Anderson with his 16th field goal of the season, but a penalty marker is down. And now Anderson gives a second look to the field. And apparently it is against the Bills.
There's no way Jim Mora will take these points off the board.
I wouldn't think.
Excellent snap from Hilgenberg.
Offside, number 76, defense, decline. 3 points.
Fred Smerlis was offsides, and so the field goal by Anderson gives Jim Mora and the New Orleans Saints a lead of 16-6. Morton Anderson kicking off, Harmon and Beebe returning for the Bills, and this will be Don Beebe on the run, dives forward, might have lost the ball, but recovers it if he did, and gets up to the 38-yard line. Well, next Saturday on CBS Sports, the NFL Today begins at 12 o'clock noon, and then the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants. Then following that game, the season premiere of NCAA basketball, Joey Myers' DePaul Blue Demons against Dean Smith and the Tar Heels of North Carolina. That's at 3:45 Eastern. A big NFL football, college basketball doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports. First down for the Bills on their 37. Jim Kelly looking to throw on first down, goes up top. It's incomplete. Keith McKellar, the tight end, was the intended receiver. McKellar had caught a pass and then lost it into the hands of Pat Swilling on the first series to allow the Saints to get the touchdown, and now they've called a penalty against New Orleans, defensive penalty, and that'll be a first down.
Holding, number 56, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Speaking of Pat Swilling.
Yeah, and what happens is it's so difficult to keep your balance and your footing on this field that if a guy's starting to go by you, you reach out and grab him, and that's what Swilling was called for.
It'll be a first down on the Bills' 42. Buffalo trailing 16-6. Kinnebrew up the middle. First man to hit him was Sam Mills. And it takes a couple of Saints to bring him down.
This is why the Bills went out and got Larry Kinnebrew for this type of weather. Late in the season here at home, you need a big fullback to sometimes take control of the ball game.
Now, you played for San Diego, and of course you wanted Miami, had trouble in Cincinnati. Do you think teams that play in the cold weather sites have a big advantage late in the year and in postseason?
No doubt. They're so used to it, having practiced in it all week, that when they come out here on Sunday, it's no different than it was on Wednesday.
Second down and 5. Kelly, Andre Reed, and he's wrestled down, but not before he picks up a first down into Saint territory by Robert Massey, and Reed picks up 9 yards.
Well, you feel the excitement that the crowd receives when Reed gets the ball in the open field. He is one of the better receivers in the league at running with the ball after the catch. But this time the footing just doesn't give it to him, and Massey stays with him and makes the tackle. But this crowd is used to seeing Andre Reed break some big ones. 9 touchdowns on the year.
And the 68 catches are tops in the AFC. Bills moving the ball, first down on the Saints' 44-yard line. Kelly to go to the air again, and this time a fine catch by McKellar, and the tight end grabs it and is stopped inside the 30. And a gain that time of 16. The linebacker, Vaughn Johnson, made the stop.
This is really an outstanding catch by McKellar. Remember, it was the ball bouncing off his shoulder pad early in the first quarter that was intercepted by Swilling. This is an all-hands catch right up top there, the big gloves with the tackiness on them, and he gets the big first down for the Bills.
Buffalo switching in the tight ends. McKellar goes out. Pete Metzelaars replaces him. And it's a first down on the New Orleans 28-yard line with 8:20 to go in the first half. Kinnebrew, right up the middle, is stopped at the 24-yard line, so he picks up 4 on that play.
It appears the Bills have two types of offensive game plans. One when they're going with the wind at their back, and obviously one when they're going against that wind. Kelly has opened it up quite a bit since they've changed ends here in the second quarter. And when he does give the ball, Thurman Thomas hasn't seen it a whole bit. It's just been all straight power up the middle with Larry Kinnebrew.
It has started to snow again. And a blowing snow all over the field. Second down and 6. On the 24, Kelly and Reed did not hold on. That'll be an incompleted pass. He was covered and hit by Brett Maxey, one of the nickel backs for the Saints. Kelly had completed 5 in a row before that incompletion.
And that was excellent coverage by the Saints defensive backs there. Kelly had a lot of time to throw. Finally found his favorite receiver, but Brett Maxey was all over and popped that ball loose.
Third down and 6. Jim Kelly has thrown a touchdown pass in every game this season. And the pass bounces in front of the intended receiver, Flip Johnson, out of McNeese State in Louisiana, and that'll bring up 4th down. Scott Norwood will come in to try a field goal. Keep in mind the wind is at his back. Norwood will kick. Kidd will hold for him.
And what they're doing is they're clearing off a place for his plant foot, his left foot, so that it does not slip out from under him, so that he can drive through with enough leverage to get the ball to the goalpost.
This will be a 42-yard attempt. His longest has been 47 this year. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up. It's a good kick. 42 yards. Helped by the wind. And Jim Mora and the Saints have seen their lead now cut to 16-9.
Well, this was really stretching the limits of Norwood here. Perfect snap from Lingner. Perfect hold from his punter. And this is a shot on goal.
He shot and he scored.
Nothing to it. Yeah. These people aren't right here in Buffalo. We've seen the parasols in New Orleans.
And there are others that just want to sit and try to stay warm. We're at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, a suburb of Buffalo, as the Bills trying to win a game and hope that Miami loses tonight against New England. If that combination occurs, the Bills will win their division title. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts here. But right now the Saints lead at 16-9. They have led all the way in this game, and we have 7.5 minutes to go in the first half.
And aside from the 2 turnovers in the first quarter that the Bills gave the Saints, this has been a well-played football game. Quarterbacks throwing well, receivers making catches, and the kickers putting the ball through the uprights.
7 plays, 39 yards. Norwood's 42-yard field goal. So each field goal kicker has connected, and each one has missed the conversion. Not entirely because of their fault. Rod Harris is in the middle. There are 3 men back for the Saints. Bobby Morse is on the right. It'll be Harris at the 5. And Harris with a return out past the 25-yard line. Carlton Bailey making the tackle for Buffalo. So the Saints working against the wind with 7:19 to go in the first half. The Eagles up ahead of Dallas 14-0, Minnesota leading Atlanta. Vikings tied with the Packers for the lead in the NFC Central, but the Packers trail Kansas City 7-0. Chicago, they're really mired in a big slump. 1st and 10 on the 26. And slipping back there is Hilliard, and a loss of about 5. Bruce Smith made the easy tag for Buffalo.
Well, it's about as easy a tackle as Bruce Smith will ever get credit for, as Dalton Hilliard is just right on the ground waiting for him. Nothing to it.
It'll be 2nd and 15. Bills normally use a 3-man front, but because of the conditions, have gone with 4 men up front throughout this game. 2nd down and 15. Forcade will get sacked. Back near his 10 by Bruce Smith. Nine and a half for Smith.
Yeah, and this is about as easy as he'll get one, as this is a big mismatch for the Saints. Kevin Haverdink, a rookie working against an all-pro here. One push, and he's gone right on Forcade. Don't look for the Saints to have Forcade in the pocket with Haverdink blocking Smith one-on-one.
Loss of 8 yards will bring up 3rd and 23 for the Saints. Ball is on their 14. High snap bobbled by Forcade. He's in trouble. Fires it downfield to Perriman. And Perriman makes the catch as he wrestles it away from Mark Kelso and makes the play for a 41-yard gain for the New Orleans Saints on a big play for New Orleans.
You know, the Saints have seen other teams do this to their secondary all year long, especially in the last couple of weeks. Watch Forcade. He wants to run this ball at first. Now he looks up and sees Perriman way down the field, and you got to have a little luck in this game and a little bit of talent. Perriman appears to just rip the ball away from Kelso, and Forcade takes another shot. This one from Timmy Cofield.
Perriman with 2 big catches today. And now they're going to call another timeout, the second one. But Forcade has completed 6 of 8 passes, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns already in this first half in this weather.
And his strength really is this type of game. He's a freelance type of guy that doesn't have a whole lot of discipline that a quarterback like Hebert has. But what he can do is make something happen. That's Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator there, talking to him. And Carl, when I asked him earlier in the week his thoughts about starting Forcade, he says, well, it's really a long shot, but we're not afraid of John Forcade. We're not afraid of his abilities. He's got the ability to throw the ball well on the run. He's shown that so far today.
Told us he didn't get much sleep. He's been looking at the film, which he normally likes to do anyway, getting to bed at 2, 3 in the morning, a lot of hours looking at film.
A lot of catch-up time there. Not a whole lot of film study for the backup quarterback, but he has done his homework very well this week.
41-yard gain, and the Saints, using their second timeout, have a first down on the 45 of Buffalo.
They're waiting for the tractor to get off the field down here in the end zone.
That might have been Forcade's pattern.
Actually, but we got 2 tractors. This is a tractor prevent.
Go to the tractor, cut around behind, and I'll loft it over the big car.
I always wanted to come to Buffalo in December to see a tractor pull.
You're seeing it.
And they won't come off the field.
He probably said, I have a job to do, and I was told to clear off the end zone, and I'm going to clear it off.
Yeah, I went to Buffalo to a tractor pull, and there was a football game right in the middle of it. Ruined the whole day. He must be getting paid by the sweep.
And he'll be back. First and 10 on the 45. Martin, the one receiver to the top of your picture. Hilliard. Picks his spots and still going. And Hilliard has run out of bounds. Came close to getting first down yardage. Leonard Smith, the former Cardinal, made the play out of bounds.
One real good battle today is down in the pit between number 67, Stan Brock of the Saints, and 72, Art Still. Watch Still get through here and almost make the tackle in the backfield, as he is now working down inside against Trapillo. And sometimes you get unlucky. You get through clean, and the guy like Dalton Hilliard goes right by you.
Still with his first NFL interception, the 12-year veteran against Seattle last week. Second down and 2, the ball at the 37. 3 tight ends for the Saints. They go up the middle to Hilliard. And it's all in the forward progress. He appears to have made the necessary yardage just inside the 35. Art Still and Ray Bentley were there to try to stop it. And it is a first down for the Saints. 4:15 remaining in the first half. 16-9. Saints lead the Bills. Miami, and of course, even if Miami were to win, if Buffalo wins this game, they will eliminate both the Patriots and the Colts from their division title hopes.
One of those 642 scenarios, huh?
Just gave you one. Play fake for Cade. Finds Hilliard. And Hilliard did a great job just holding on to the ball when he was hit by Darryl Talley.
We'll see a lot of zone defense from both teams today. Talley's number 56 here. Watch as the linebackers just drop back after they see the fake. And now they're going to be in their responsibilities. Talley's responsibility is the throwback to the halfback. And boy, he just creams Hilliard. How did Hilliard stay on his feet?
They lost a yard or so on the play. We call it second down and 12. Loss of 2. Back to the 36-yard line. Forcade's pass is caught on a slant in by Eric Martin inside the 20, and a gain of 17 yards and a Saints first down. Cornerback Kirby Jackson makes the tackle.
This is Eric Martin, number 84, on the slant pattern as Tice runs the quick out, and the linebackers aren't out there quick enough to give Kirby Jackson any help. But again, a fine throw from John Forcade.
Keep in mind, the ball on the 19-yard line. Forcade with almost a Hail Mary throw and a great catch by Perriman to get him out of deep trouble. On first down on the 19, Hilliard will go out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. Kirby Jackson chased him.
You know, the big play has haunted the Saints all year long, especially the big pass play. Well, already today, you just mentioned that 41-yarder to Perriman, but let's go back to the 54-yard catch and run for Dalton Hilliard. So what Forcade has given this ball club is the big play, something that they have lacked all year long.
Second down and 8. That's Martin in motion. Pressure. Getting rid of it in a hurry. An alert play by John Forcade. And storming in was Shane Conlon. But Forcade showed good presence of mind, and shaken up right now is Hobie Brenner, the Saints tight end.
Well, Hobie Brenner, this could really, this looks like it's a shoulder, but Forcade was mad that Shane Conlon dusted him off a little bit too hard after he got rid of the ball as he came on the blitz.
2:23 remaining in the first half. It'll be third down and 8. Brenner will come out of the game. There's Greg Scales, who joins John Tice in a double tight end alignment for the Saints. Big pitch, and Forcade goes down, and that's that man, Shane Conlon again, with a sack. Second of the game for Buffalo.
Well, he almost got to him on the play before when Forcade dumped the ball. This time, number 58, Shane Conlon, comes on the blitz again. And this is an outstanding tackle as Forcade tries to pull a little magic out of there and get away, but Conlon had him wrapped up.
It is fourth down. Saints are in Bills country, but they lead it 16-9. We're going to wind down to the 2-minute warning before Morton Anderson tries the field goal attempt. So a chance to think it over and a timeout with 2 minutes to go in the first half here in Buffalo.
Extra strength Thomas E.X.
That's the wind. 15 to 25 miles an hour, and a 41-yard attempt into the wind by Anderson. Wonder if the Bills are thinking there might be a fake attempt by the Saints. Holding is Fort Cade, the quarterback. It is no fake. The kick is woefully short, and it's no good. Didn't have much of a chance, did it? Now they make sure they go over to the ball to make sure it can't be run back.
Well, this ball had to seem like it had to be an 80-yarder for Morton Anderson. Just no way. Kicking right into the teeth of the wind. But Jim Mora had to go for it. I mean, you can't send your punter out there and have him punt the ball 10 yards to pin them down in the deep in their own end. Good try from Anderson there, but that's just an impossible shot.
Ball never did get into the end zone, and of course the Saints had to make sure the Bills wouldn't try to anything funny and try to bring it back. So it's 1st and 10 at the 24 for Buffalo. Jim Kelly working out of the shotgun with 1:55 to go in the first half. Flips it out to Thurman Thomas, and Thomas picks up close to first down yardage. Vaughn Johnson way back, the linebacker making the stop. Hurry up offense for Buffalo.
Well, the Bills have 3 timeouts, and this is a situation that has really been troublesome for the Saints, defending against the pass in these must-pass situations.
Playing the prevent defense of the Saints. Kelly going underneath, completes it again to Thomas. He's got another first down. The ball caught at the 43, and now the Bills will use one of their 3 timeouts remaining. We'll take a break. 1:20 to go in the first half. 16-9 the score. 1st and 10 following a timeout. Jim Kelly's pass in and out of the hands of Flip Johnson. 1:16 showing on the clock. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Robert Massey, the rookie cornerback who has been tested early and often this season and has 5 interceptions, was defending. Kelly with a pump fake. And the only man he could go to was Flip Johnson again, out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:09 showing. And they are about 4 yards away from first down yardage and haven't reached midfield yet. They're at the 48-yard line, their own 48.
And Kelly's going right to the line of scrimmage, although we have the clock stopped. Why not go back to the huddle?
Kelly dumps it off this time to Ronnie Harmon. Harmon will have the first down, out of bounds into New Orleans territory. Knocked there by Gene Atkins, a gain of 10, and it stops the clock.
You know, this is a situation that all quarterbacks love because, number one, they get to call all the plays. They don't have to wait for any signals, and maybe that's what Kelly's doing. He's just getting at the line of scrimmage and audibly.
First down on the Saints 43. Just trying to hold on to the ball. Runsworth, and is down at the 24 by Frank Warren, and now Buffalo will use up another timeout. They have 1 left, 52 seconds to go, and the Bills making the most of this last couple of minutes. 52 seconds to go in the first half. The Bills have the ball on the 34-yard line of the Saints. 2nd down and 2. 3 wide receivers for Jim Kelly. Going deep, open. Thomas, incomplete. Thurman Thomas has the ball jarred away. Dave Waymer was back there, along with Gene Atkins, but he was open for a while.
Yeah, a really well-designed play, as Thomas is well behind Atkins. Outstanding job from Dave Waymer coming over and stripping that ball away just in time. Old pro Dave Waymer.
Moved to safety from cornerback this year. He's used to this kind of weather, having played it at Notre Dame. On 3rd down and 2, Kelly to Ronnie Harmon. And he's hit by Waymer defending again, and that'll bring up 4th down. So the Bills' attack just fizzled now, and Kelly looks to the sidelines to see whether they want to go for it on 4th down.
And if you do, what kind of play are you going to call? Quarterbacks don't like to call these plays. If they were to go for a field goal, it would be about a 51-yarder. And even with the wind at Norwood's back, that would be pressing his limit.
41 seconds remain in the first half. 4th down and 2. The ball is at the Saints 34. 4th down. Up the middle, the pass is caught. Andre Reed apparently has the first down. Brett Maxey defending. It is a first down. 33 seconds remaining, and Buffalo will use up its last timeout of this first half. Arv Levy would like one more shot at the scoreboard before the end of this half, trailing 16-9.
And he's also pleading to see if he can get one of those extra timeouts that those
Jerry
officials,
Glanville
that the Houston Oilers got last week against the Steelers. But no dice here today. He's going to have to earn this one. Good job of Jim Kelly moving that offense down the field as he used a lot of audibles there. He almost knew, speaking of predictability, that on that 4th and 2, where he was going to go with that ball. He's going to go to his #1 guy, Andre Reed.
Well, you wonder if he's going to go back to him, because the 33 seconds to go, he's on the 31-yard line, and they still could try a field goal. They're going to have to stop the clock some way, though, before they would try a field goal. So do you go for the money now, or what?
I'm almost wondering if they could run that play to Thurman Thomas again. He was so wide open. That would not be a bad call to come back to.
1st and 10 on the 31. Kelly, nowhere to go, fires over the head of Thurman Thomas. The receivers were covered, or at least not moving, and now 25 seconds remain.
Well, Kelly really got away with one here. That ball should have been picked off by Toy Cook, but it just kind of sailed over his head and on and beyond the outreached grasp of Thurman Thomas. Kelly was hit as he got rid of it.
11th play of the drive coming up. Second down and 10. And Kelly having trouble finding a receiver. This was intended for Reed, but also Flip Johnson was in the neighborhood. It'll go incomplete in 3rd down, coming up with 19 seconds left.
And the problem here now is that if Kelly were to throw a pass where the receiver can't get out of bounds, will they have enough time to get up to the line of scrimmage and kick a field goal, or get up to the line of scrimmage and throw the ball away to stop the clock? The other problem is if he doesn't get enough yardage for the first down here, they're going to have to go for the field goal. So can you get him on fast enough?
James Lofton is in the game. He caught the touchdown pass earlier. 3 wide receivers. Kelly on 3rd down, going for Andre Reed. Incomplete. Defended on the play by Milton Mack. And that'll bring up 4th down. The Bills have had their chances here in the waning seconds.
Well, and Kelly ran off 12 plays in about a minute and a half, and that's outstanding for a 2-minute offense.
So Norwood will try a long field goal attempt, but he's going to have the wind at his back. This will be a 48-yarder, which would be his longest this season.
Well, if I were the punter there, John Kidd, I'd bring a broom out with me to put some bristles under my shoe.
We'll bring out the truck again. The kick is good. The line drive kick just makes it over the crossbar. And Scott Norwood with a 48-yard field goal, his longest of the year, brings the Bills to within 4 points. 16-12. The Saints still lead.
A lot of wind behind this kick, but that's perfect form, and there's a bullseye on the tractor. Almost came back through.
Second field goal of the game for Scott Norwood. Both have been long attempts, 42 and now 48 yards.
And he's over the 100-point mark on the year.
8 seconds remain in the first half. The Bills have never led in this game, as the Saints scored 2 early touchdowns taking advantage of 2 Buffalo turnovers and led 13-0.
How do you figure that the kickers can kick so well in conditions like this? Tremendous concentration. And, of course, when you're going with the wind, it makes you that much more confident.
Talked about Jim Kelly and how many plays. He got 13 plays off in 1 minute and 48 seconds and came away with 3. Here's Norwood getting set to kick off, doing some house cleaning. Back deep for the Saints. Rod Harris, Gene Atkins, and Bobby Morse. Harris is in the center.
Well, this field has held up very well today. The traction appears to be improving as the snow has stopped.
Saints have won 10 in a row against AFC opponents. That's the longest string by any NFC club against non-conference opponents.
I always wonder about kickers that wear 2 different brands of shoes. You see the Nike and the Adidas here. Does that mean he has 2 different endorsement contracts?
I don't know, but we got a couple of plugs in there here in the first half. Dwight Drain was holding for Norwood. Morris returning the kick. And no time remains, and so even if Morris had fumbled, it's not going to do the Bills any good, as the first half has come to a conclusion. So an unusual first half, as you might expect, because of the weather. A lot of missed kicks. But it's Saints 16, Bills 12 at halftime.
In Foxborough, Massachusetts, and they had an outstanding day against the Patriots and won that game easily.
The delay is because they're finishing off clearing the field, and as you could tell, they finally have cleared the field entirely. We did not have any snow till about an hour before the game, and then it was a light dusting, and then the snow came down a bit heavier and covered the field. But now it is totally clear, to the delight of the athletes, I'm sure. And Scott Norwood getting set to kick off against the wind.
Interesting that the Bills have decided to defend the goal where they'll be kicking into the wind and save the wind for the 4th quarter when they'll have it at their back.
Rod Harris, Gene Atkins, and Bobby Morris. You saw a glimpse of the 3 men back for the Saints. Harris is the man in the middle. Gene Atkins lets the ball get through him. I don't believe he touched it. That means it's a free ball, and it means Buffalo may have it at the 2. They do. Mickey Sutton. The ball went right under the legs of Atkins.
This is Atkins. Ball went right between his legs. Dwight Drain, number 45, has a chance to pick it up on the run, but Atkins swats it away from him. And now Mickey Sutton, look what I found right underneath me on the 1-yard line.
Lo and behold, they clear the snow off the field, and the Bills get a big break here. The ball is on the 2-yard line. Mickey Sutton with the alert recovery. And Buffalo has a 1st and goal with 3 tight ends, Metzelars, McKellar, and Butch Rawl, looking to take their first lead of the game. And the give is to Thurman Thomas, who gets to the 1.
You know, they may have cleared off this field, but it appears that it's gotten icier as the afternoon's gone on, because the tight end, we had a tight end in motion on that play, and he slipped as he was coming out of his stance. So on 2 consecutive plays, we've seen players lose their footing.
This is a bonus for the Buffalo Bills, who knew that they were going against the wind here in the 3rd quarter, getting it in the 4th. Now they have a 2nd and goal. The ball still at the 2-yard line. And a play-action pass. Kelly looking for anyone. Close. Touchdown. Metzelars, the tight end. '23rd touchdown pass of the year. 2nd of the game for Kelly.
And there was a penalty against the Saints that's declined. Look at all the time that Kelly has, and now he picks out a guy that's 6'7" to throw the ball to, and like dumping it into the low post to Pete Metzelaars for the touchdown.
Second touchdown catch of the year. And the Bills lead for the first time, and Scott Norwood will try to extend it to 3 points. And less than a minute into the second half, Pete Metzelaars on the receiving end of a 2-yard toss by Jim Kelly. The Bills lead the Saints now, 19-16. Kelly with a 2-yard flip to Pete Metzelaars to give the Bills a 19-16 lead, their first of the game. And now Scott Norwood will be kicking off for the second time in this first minute of play of the third quarter. Ron Harris in the middle. Nearest to you is Gene Atkins, who mishandled that kickoff, and Bobby Morse to the far right.
And you notice the return men have come all the way up to the 15 to the 20-yard line, because that's about as far as Norwood's last kickoff went before the wind just slammed it and pushed it straight down.
Short kick, and it's going to be Ron Harris. Harris is stopped just beyond the 30-yard line, and that's where the Saints take over.
Take a look at the touchdown. On the left side of the screen here is Metzelaars and Ricky Jackson. Watch Ricky Jackson tackle Metzelaars as he comes off the line of scrimmage. That was the penalty right there. Now Kelly looking all around for somebody. Metzelaars fights to get up, and Kelly puts the ball where he had to for the 6.
And a great fake to Thurman Thomas on the handoff. So let's see how the Saints answer this one. 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line. 3 tight end alignment. Hilliard. And Hilliard, as he's done all season long, finding the open spaces and making the most of them. Gets close to the 40-yard line. Gain of about 6. .30 yards on 13 rushes today for Hilliard, the 4th New Orleans Saint to gain over 1,000 yards in a single season.
Talking with his fine offensive tackle Stan Brock yesterday, he says that's a measure of a good offensive line, is how many 1,000-yard rushes you block for.
Second down and 3, they gave him 7. Hilliard will get the necessary yardage and then some, and will bring the ball just to midfield for a Saint first down. 11 yards that time for Hilliard. Darryl Talley and Kirby Jackson made the tackle for the Bills.
Let's check out Stan Brock, number 67 here, working against the linebacker with a double team from Hobie Brenner. Good sign that Brenner's back in the game. Great push off the line of scrimmage as Hilliard had a lot of room to run.
First down at midfield. Again, it's Hilliard at that time. Stopped for no gain by Art Still. Here are the men who have gained 1,000 yards for the New Orleans Saints. Chuck Muncie did it once, George Rogers twice, Reuben Mays 3 years ago, and now Hilliard.
And Hilliard, although not the same size as some of those big guys, what he does have is outstanding balance and the ability to cut back. So far this second half, we've seen the Saints offensive line come straight off the ball, and Hilliard just hitting right up in the middle.
Second down and 10. Forcade has time. Penalty marker down. And the pass intended for Eric Martin is ruled incomplete. Covering on the play was Mark Kelso, but there's a flag down. It'll be defensive holding against Buffalo, and that'll be an automatic first down.
It appeared it was Kirby Jackson.
Holding, number 47, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Kirby Jackson would like to have an appeal with the mic on.
I'm not so sure that's such a good idea. But he was holding Eric Martin coming off the line of scrimmage. and he got caught.
Saints moving the ball, trailing 19-16. Have a first down just inside Buffalo territory. Forcade on the slant pass to Perriman. And Brett Perriman still moving inside the 15 as the Bills try to tear it away from him, and is finally down at the 11-yard line, but not before Brett Perriman picks up 33 yards on that slant-in pattern.
Well, Forcade is showing me a lot in this ball game. He's going to see the blitz from the outside here. Leonard Smith is coming on the safety blitz, and his read is to go right now to the slant. There's Smith, number 46. And this is what Saints fans have been dying to see for a long time, is Brett Perriman loose in the secondary.
Nate Odoms and Ray Bentley on the stop. 3 catches for 89 yards for Perriman. First down on the 10. Forcade being chased. And his pass hits a Buffalo defender. It is incomplete. Leonard Smith was defending on the play against the tight end Hobie Brenner, who was shaken up in the first half, but back in there now.
Mora has to be extremely pleased with the way his ball club was played today. He said, you know, there's no reason to panic. We have a good program here in New Orleans. We have done a good job. The problem is we have not been able to prevent big plays or make them on offense. Well, today, at least half of that, they are making the big play thanks to their quarterback, John Forcade.
And he assured us, he says, we're going to play hard tomorrow, I'll tell you that. Second down and 10. Hilliard gets to about the 8. That's where his forward motion should be. Shane Conlon, the first man to get to him. But you're right about Forcade. 4 of his 9 completions this afternoon have been for 33 yards or more. So he has given the big play look back to the Saints.
You know, every time that Dalton Hilliard gets the ball and he's not tackled, it turns into like the rugby scrum. Here he's right in the middle. All the Bills are trying to push him one way. The Saints offensive line gets in there. They're pushing the other way. This is tough on the officials to determine when his forward progress is stopped, where they're going to mark the ball.
Third down and 8. They can get a first down without scoring. Craig Hayward is the lone back, and Forcade will use up a timeout. Not a bad idea in a close game like this when you have a chance to score.
But the problem is that you cannot afford in a close game like this to not have timeouts at the end of the ball game. This is 3 times today now that Forcade has been forced to call timeouts because the play clock is run down. Now, whether that's his fault for not being able to read the signal fast enough to get the play called, or if there's some problem on the sidelines with getting the signal into him. But this is something they have to correct now, because this is a game that may be decided by a field goal.
But then again, you don't know how many more chances and times the Saints are going to be in this position either. But you're right. Toward the end of the game and toward the end of the half, and we saw what happened when the Bills, when they managed to get 3 on the board before the end of the first half because they had the full complement of timeouts.
Well, you can go a long way in a little bit of time if you have the ability to stop the clock. Easiest way, of course, is with the T signal. Although we saw in Dallas last week the smaller case T signal, which wasn't really a timeout signal, cost the Cowboys perhaps a game against the Rams.
He was signaling for a formation. It was like an H, not a T, and they charge him with the last timeout. Meanwhile, it's third down and 8. Forcade looking to run. Looks to find anyone, and the pass, penalty marker down, nearly intercepted. It was intended for Craig Hayward out of the backfield, and Leonard Smith was defending, and we may have a pass interference call or a push.
No, what it is the Saints had an offensive lineman downfield.
Okay.
They had no idea what Forcade was doing back there, running around for his life.
Almost ran into his own lineman blocking for him.
And almost got the completion. They'll decline it.
Ineligible downfield, number 61, offense, decline. 4th down.
Hilgenberg, the center.
That's really one of the problems that the offensive line has with a quarterback like John Forcade. because they really are never sure what John's going to do. If he's going to sit in the pocket and throw the ball up, or he's going to scramble around as he did that time.
Morton Anderson connected on a 31-yard field goal. This will be from 26 yards for Cade Holding, and the kick is good. And we have a tie game. So in a weird game with inclement weather, 13-0 Saints. Then Buffalo came back to take a 3-point lead, and now we're all even with 10:02 remaining in the third quarter. Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, on a cold, wintry December Sunday. We've had some snow. Field has been cleared of it. We're all tied at 19. Saints and the Bills, and Morton Anderson getting set to kick off for New Orleans. Ronnie Harmon and Don Beebe to return. The kick sails into the end zone for a touchback. And the Bills will start from the 20-yard line. Next Saturday, the NFL Today at noon, and then the Cowboys and Giants.
The Giants have a tough one this afternoon against the Broncos, where the weather is very similar to the way it is here today. A little bit of snow in Denver.
And then the season premiere of college basketball, DePaul and North Carolina from the Dean Dome at 3:45 Eastern. That's next Saturday on CBS Sports. Jim Kelly bringing out the Bills 1st and 10 from the 20. 9:56 to go in the third. Thurman Thomas going outside. Penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. We'll have a holding penalty, I think, against Buffalo. Dave Waymer made the stop, but it'll be against Buffalo. Bills coming into the game 6-1 at home.
Holding, number 28, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Larry Kinnebrew, the fullback.
Well, and this is Pat Swilling. He's the guy he pulls down, number 56. Swilling coming on the blitz here. And that's a necktie tackle.
Kinnebrew's a big fella. First down and 20. We go to Thomas again. Hemmed in at the sideline and knocked out of bounds. Short of the 15-yard line by Vaughn Johnson, who didn't have to worry if you talked to Vaughn Johnson yesterday whether he was primed for this clash today.
He is a classic middle linebacker type. I mean, he prayed for weather like this today. He even would like to have had it snow more, where there was no way that they could throw the ball. He wants to get in on every tackle for a couple of reasons. First of all, he likes the physical part of it, but he also wants to build his tackle stats up.
Said, I like playing Buffalo. They like to keep the ball on the ground. It's my kind of team. Second down and 16. Kelly to throw. McKellar, the tight end, crunch, but makes a fine catch close to the 40-yard line, and a gain of 24 yards, a first down. McKellar on the catch. Dave Waymer made the tackle.
Now, this is why Vaughn Johnson would like to see them run every down. Here he's got coverage on the tight end, Keith McKellar. Nice out and up move by McKellar. Perfect throw from Kelly. And Dave Waymer has to come over and help out. That's what he was talking about. Hey, let's run the ball. Forget this passing stuff.
He's probably sorry it isn't snowing anymore. First down, Bills on their 38-yard line. Two tight ends. Kelly with a play fake. Kinnebrew was wide open, and the throw just led him a little bit too much for an incompleted pass. Second down.
One of the real problems for any quarterback, not so much the cold today, but the wind. Watch how this ball will get out of its spiral. Once it's out of its spiral, the wind will take care of it and make it sail on the quarterback. Kelly has a strong arm, but the most important factor for a quarterback throwing the ball today is just throw a spiral. Only way to cut it through this wind.
Bills on their 38. On the draw. Thomas gets thrown back by James Gethers, but they'll give him the forward motion and a pickup of maybe a yard on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and long for the Bills. 3 wide receivers come in for Buffalo. Flip Johnson and Don Beebe join their ace, Andre Reed.
Gathers did a nice job there of delivering Thomas to the referee. Did you see that?
Here he
Took
is.
him all the way back. Here you're blowing the whistle. Here's why.
They bring Thomas into the slot. Ronnie Harmon is back there out of the shotgun. Kelly on third down. Pass. Harmon is knocked away, and a fine defensive play by Toy Cook, who just batted the ball out of the hands of Andre Reed now. Reed was the intended receiver, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Watch Pat Swilling, number 56, coming on the rush against Wolford, and Wolford just reaches out with his right hand and grabs him, or Swilling might have had a sack there. And then the real tight coverage from Toy Cook, that might have been called pass interference. It appeared he had his right arm on Reed's back.
John Kidd will be punting on fourth down. Bobby Morse is deep for the Saints. 8:06 remaining in the third quarter. High kick. Morse at the 30. I did not see a fair catch call, but he stopped at the 31-yard line. Mark Pike made sure he wasn't going to go anywhere if he did not call for the fair catch.
First and 10 New Orleans.
Saints take over in a tie game here in Buffalo. Mora, who led his team to a 12-3 mark 2 years ago, 10-6 last year, and right now 6-7. Would like nothing more than to finish the season 9-7. Respectable record indeed, though disappointing to what the Saints might have expected. New Orleans has a first down on their 31-yard line. John Forte up the middle, completes the pass to the tight end John Tice. Picks up about nearly 9 yards that time, and Scott Radisick, playing in place of Cornelius Bennett, makes the stop.
The big play has hurt the Bills secondary, so you're going to see him playing in a zone here as the safeties, Thompson, or Smith and Kelso, are just splitting the field in half and letting the linebackers in the other corners work underneath.
Second down and 2. Pitches to Dalton Hilliard. He'll have the first down. Continues his tremendous performance. Dalton Hilliard, brought down by Darryl Talley. Leonard Smith also in on the stop. 49 yards today on 17 carries for Dalton Hilliard, who came in the game as the third leading rusher in the conference. 29 behind Barry Sanders, the leader. But Sanders is having a big day for the Lions.
And, you know, when you talk to people like Stan Brock about Dalton Hilliard, they say he's such a quiet, unassuming guy. You would never think he would be as tough a runner as he is.
First down for the Saints on their 43. 6:40 remaining in the third quarter. Craig Hayward is in the game, and the deep pass overthrown, intended for Perriman. Covering on the play was Kirby Jackson. And talked about Sanders, 95 yards and 2 touchdowns for Barry Sanders of the Lions today. Philadelphia is winning. If they win their game, it doesn't matter what the Saints do. They'll be eliminated from any playoff hopes.
Minnesota will play Cleveland next week. Be a good battle there. Look at Green Bay and Kansas City. Kansas City has to be the surprise of the AFC. Great job by Marty Schottenheimer.
And Detroit behind Sanders, leading Chicago 24-10. Second down and 10 now. You send Buford Jordan to the top of your picture. Penalty marker down. Hilliard back in the game after missing one play, but there's a flag. Houston leading Tampa Bay, and Seattle over Cincinnati in a surprise.
On the right side, offense, 5 yards, still second down.
Steve Trapillo, Redskins inching closer to San Diego. You know, you talked about Kansas City. If they go on and beat the Packers, Minnesota will have a 1-game lead in the Central Division if they hold on to their lead over Atlanta.
A lot of scenarios. You got about 600 more to go, pal.
And time is running out for that.
Well, I'll stay tuned.
This is the fun time of the year in the NFL.
That really is. It gives a lot of people a lot of hope.
Second down and 15. Forte drills it, and the pass is caught by Lonzel Hill.
pass.
A 23-yard gain. And Hill, that slant pattern's been working for Fort Cave effectively today.
Well, and this is what Buffalo fans saw from Lonzell's daddy for many years, J.D. Hill, catching the ball over the middle in the tough area in the football field. And he almost got away for a big gainer.
First catch of the game for Lonzell Hill, who came in as the second leading receiver for the Saints. First down for New Orleans on the Buffalo 39. Play action. Fort Cave. Hill. Incomplete. He was covered by Nate Odom. But a similar pattern run on the left side this time.
But you saw the ball get all the way through his hands and onto his shoulder pad. And those shoulder pads are made out of hard plastic. And you, as a receiver, you've got to make the catch with your hands. Reach out and grab it with your hands, because if it gets to that hard plastic, it's going to go up in the air. And we already saw a turnover early in the game because of that.
You know, this leads me to remember what Jim Kelly and you were talking about yesterday, that quarterbacks would make great receiver coaches.
Well, they would, because the quarterback knows where he wants his receiver to be, and sometimes that's the toughest part of the communication process.
Second down and 10. Pitch goes to Hilliard. Runs into a cloud and knocked out of bounds after gaining maybe a yard. Scott Radisick and Leon Seals combined on that play. Keep in mind the Bills are playing without Cornelius Bennett, who has a sprained left knee, more severe than they thought. Thought he might even be ready at the beginning of this week, but no chance for that, and this is the fourth game he's missed.
And you got to believe that Marv Levy is looking forward to the playoffs and saving Cornelius Bennett, because he wants a healthy Cornelius Bennett. Oh, with the fur earmuffs. Isn't that nice? Big tough guy like that wearing earmuffs.
We could have used them. Third and 9. Fort Cave. Short of the sticks by plenty. And it was Leonard Smith who was not going to let him get to first down yardage, and that will bring up fourth down.
And Leonard Smith is telling him, listen, you got to be crazy, fella, thinking you're going to out-juke me and make the first down. One of the hardest hitters in all football right there, Leonard Smith. Another
player who started at McNeese State in Louisiana, Morton Anderson, comes on. Keep in mind the wind at the backs of the Saints this quarter. Buffalo will get that advantage in the fourth quarter. This will be a 50-yard field goal attempt. And it's just under the crossbar. So Morton Anderson, who is 2 for 4 this afternoon, misses a chance to put the Saints back in front. And with 4:38 remaining in the third quarter, we're all even, 19 apiece. And the Bills all tied, 19 all, with 4:38 remaining in the third quarter. Morton Anderson just missing a 50-yard field goal attempt, and the Bills will take over on their 33-yard line. Thurman Thomas off the left side. Gets to the 37. Wayne Martin makes the tackle.
Bills are finding out just how tough it is to run against this #1 rushing defense in the NFL. Great pursuit all along the line. That time it was Wayne Martin coming down and making the tackle.
You saw 37 yards for Thurman Thomas. He came into this game second in the AFC, 67 yards behind Christian Okoye of the Chiefs. Second down and 6. Ronnie Harmon in now, running back. Kelly facing a blitz, dumps it off to Harmon. Harmon is down, short of a first down, but not by much. Vaughn Johnson and Pat Swilling on the stop will bring up 3rd and short.
Let's watch the block of left guard Jim Richer here as he comes out on the screen and really gives Harmon room after the reception. Watch as he locks on the linebacker Vaughn Johnson here, and Harmon goes to the outside.
Kenneth Davis has come in the lineup, number 23, his first appearance for the Bills.
That's probably the hardest block for an offensive lineman is on the screen pass.
3 tight ends on 3rd and 1. Here's Davis, and he's going to be short. And a fine defensive play by Vaughn Johnson, who stormed in and prevented Kenneth Davis from getting the first down. And it's 4th down, and Buffalo will have to kick.
Vaughn Johnson is out of our screen to the left side here, number 53, but he's playing like a running back, looking for the hole, filling the hole, and then making the tackle. Big and strong as he is, Davis never had a chance.
Marv Levy said tomorrow we're facing the best set of linebackers we have faced all year, and the Saints have proven that out today. John Kidd will kick. Bobby Morse deep. Bobbles it, falls on it, and the Saints maintain possession on the 28-yard line. Well, don't forget, coming up, game 2 of our doubleheader. The Giants at 9-4 will try to rebound from their NFC East loss to Philly in a tough game in Denver.
And the Broncos, they're looking to keep that home field advantage. They've already clinched the AFC West. They got to keep winning, though, to send the playoffs all the way to Denver.
That was the Super Bowl matchup of 3 years ago, the Broncos and the Giants.
Denver's changed their personality defensively, though. They're more attacking. Wade Phillips, their new coordinator, has done an outstanding job.
First down on the 28 for John Forcade. Hilliard with Trapillo blocking. And Hilliard will bring it out to the 33-yard line. Gain of 5 that time, and making the tackle was Kirby Jackson, who pushed Hilliard out of bounds.
Hilliard's about 5'8", and sometimes he's tough to see back there. He gets out behind the big guard there, Trapillo, who's 6'5", almost a foot taller. Low center of gravity, a lot of strength. You see him pull away from that tackle from Leon Seals.
He made a good point. He is the smallest, as far as height, of all of the backs who have gained 1,000 yards in their careers with the Saints. 2nd and 5. Forcade. Pass is incomplete. It was intended for John Tice, the tight end. And that'll be 3rd down.
Now you wonder about the play selection for the Saints now, whether they're concerned that they only have 2 more minutes of this wind advantage. Coming up on a 3rd and 5, probably should throw it one more time.
Well, they had the wind at their backs, but they had a big miscue, not a turnover, but a miscue on the opening kickoff of the second half. Went under the legs of Atkins, recovered by the Bills on the 2, and they scored a touchdown. We're tied, and now it's 3rd down and 5 on the 33. Forcade jump pass. Eric Martin outraces the secondary and picks up enough yards to get into Bills territory. On 3rd down, he picks up 23 yards. And now for an NFL Today update, let's check in with Brent Musburger. Brent?
Dick, if things hold, the magic number for the Vikes to win a division title will be 1. Another defensive touchdown against the Falcons. Chris Dolman again sets it up. This time Tim Newton will walk in. Earlier it was Keith Millard. Easy here. Packers continue to lose big. If it holds, a Viking win or a Packer loss, and the Vikes will win the division. Now let's go back to Dick.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. First down for the Saints on the Bills' 44. Hilliard. Somehow he has gotten away from the first Buffalo defender every time he's carried the ball today, it seems. He's out of bounds at the 41. Pickup of 3 that time. Shane Conlon making the tackle. There's the total offensive story. New Orleans trying to make the most of the wind at their back.
But as you said, Dick, he makes the first guy miss. Well, if you count guys out there, he's got 10 other teammates. So there's 11 guys on defense. The coaches tell the running back, hey, one guy out there can't be blocked. You got to make him miss. And Hilliard does it all the time.
2nd and 7. Forcade flips it to Scales, Out of bounds. Scales, who comes in as the third tight end, incomplete, and that'll bring up third down.
You know, watching this ball game in the type of weather conditions we're having, and watching Forcade move around out there, you know who he reminds me of? Fran Tarkenton. Just kind of making anything happen. His arm is a lot stronger than Tarkenton, but he is making things happen out here. That was close to being a big completion to Scales on the sideline.
And, you know, Tarkenton was not a man of great speed, but had that mobility and maneuverability, and you're right, Forcade shows that.
Tarkenton was unique.
3rd and 7. Intercepted by Nate Odoms. Buffalo gets it back. That's the 5th interception this year by Nate Odoms, who leads the Bills now in that department.
Well, like Tarkenton, Forcade will throw an interception or two. This is only his 2nd of the year. But this is an outstanding play by Odoms as he steps right in front of the receiver, Buford Jordan, and makes the grab with his hands. Odoms is having a Pro Bowl type of year of his own. That's his 4th or 5th interception of the year.
First turnover of the game by the Saints. Jim Kelly starts from his 42, and the pass, and James Lofton, the intended receiver, but wasn't anywhere near where that ball was thrown. And that'll bring up 2nd down with 56 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. 19-19 the score.
And you know, if you remember back earlier in the game, the Saints blew a extra point try, and the Bills had an extra point try block, so things have evened out even there.
That was when we had a lot of white stuff cover the field. Now it's just cold and windy. 2nd and 10. Thurman Thomas caught, and another fine play by New Orleans linebacker Sam Mills. Sam Mills and Vaughn Johnson have to be as good as you'll find of inside linebackers defending the run in the NFL.
And it's really a well-coordinated defensive scheme where everybody seems to funnel the ball carrier to the 2 middle linebackers, Mills and Vaughn. A lot of talent out there, but the Dome Patrol, led by Sam Mills, having another great year.
Johnson has 8 tackles today. Following the loss, it'll be 3rd down and 11. Kelly going deep. Just past the outstretched reach of Don Beebe, who's got tremendous speed, and that will bring up 4th down with only 3 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Beebe has tremendous speed, but that was a tremendous throw into the wind. Kelly threw that ball on a line about 60 yards. But look for this fella, Don Beebe and Jim Kelly, to get better acquainted next year. Kelly feels that this one may be one of his main guys next year. Don Beebe likes his speed.
4th down, and John Kidd will kick it away. There is Bobby Borstey. Morris on the fair catch. Makes the play at the 33. 27-yard kick. No time remaining, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter here at.
And by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts back at Orchard Park, Rich Stadium, over 70,000, but not a sellout, as the Buffalo Bills, with a 1-game lead in the AFC East over the Miami Dolphins, who play tonight against New England, will have the wind at their backs. Very important going into the 4th quarter, but it's Saints ball, 1st down on their 33. Craig Hayward in the game at running back with Dalton Hilliard. And a big run up the middle by Hilliard. And Hilliard will have the necessary yardage for the 1st down at the 44-yard line. Bentley on the tackle. Now they mark it where it may be 2nd and 1, although the official indicates it's first down.
This is really basic football. This is Trapillo and Brock, and this is just a dive play to Hilliard right up the middle. A lot of heft there, 280 pounds, 290, Trapillo and Brock respectively.
It is a first down for the Saints. And Hayward picks up about 3 on first down. Craig Hayward, earlier this week there were reports that maybe there would be a trade in his future. He doesn't want to be traded. Didn't get a chance to play that much, but it's no knock on Hayward, according to Jim Mora.
Jim Mora says that Buford Jordan is just a better football player at this time, that Craig Hayward has not been able to beat out Jordan at fullback, and you're not going to replace Dalton Hilliard at halfback, so Hayward's just got to have to play better next year to get in the lineup.
That was his first carry. 2nd down and 6. Hilliard gets to midfield, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Darryl Talley making the stop for the Buffalo Bills. Bills know with a victory today that they would eliminate both the Patriots and the Colts from division title consideration, and would also set up a perhaps chance to clinch the division if the Miami Dolphins are beaten by New England tonight in the Orange Bowl. Or check that, Joe Robbie Stadium.
Yes.
I stand corrected.
Well, have a seat then.
3rd and 3.
In the corner.
Forcade. Pass is complete to Perriman, and that'll be a first down. Chris Hale pushes him out of bounds, and Perriman, having one of his better days of the season, gives the Saints a first down in Buffalo territory to the 42.
That's Kevin Haverdink, and he got hurt the play before blocking against Bruce Smith. And this has been a problem. He has had a bad back, and it appears that that's the problem now. Those back spasms can really cripple you.
Saints are without Brad Edelman, who has an injured knee, and they put Steve Court, their center, on injured reserve with a knee injury. So if Haverdink is banged up, that depletes an already weakened offensive line. Big game for the New Orleans Saints. Total yardage against a very fine offense against Buffalo. Forcade, replacing Bobby Hebert, has thrown for 268 yards. 19-19 the score with just under 13 minutes to go. Do you think the win factor is that big? We've been talking about it all game, favoring the Buffalo the rest of the way.
Well, I think if it comes down to a field goal, they definitely will have it at their back. Big problem now for the Saints. They got to retool their offensive line. Haverdink goes out. Dombrowski now moves from left guard to left tackle, and Jeff Walker comes in at left guard.
First down for the Saints on the Bills' 42. Hayward at the top of your picture. Hilliard. And the Bills don't let him get anything. No gain on the play. Shane Conlon and Leonard Smith pushed him out of bounds.
Well, this is what it's like being a running back in the NFL today. Dalton Hilliard doing it, trying as hard as he can. About 3 different choices. Now he's got to get hit by about 6 guys, and the last guy is going to take him down about 6 yards out of bounds, Leonard Smith.
A back sprain is the word on Kevin Haverdink. Questionable whether he'll be back. 3 tight ends on 2nd and 10. 1 wide receiver for New Orleans. Hilliard fumbles. Buffalo has it. So the Saints have turned it over twice here in the second half, and it was Leon Seals who makes the recovery for the Bills.
This is the second fumble of the day for Hilliard. Forcade recovered the first one. Good blocking up in front to begin with, but Ray Bentley comes in with his left hand and punches it loose, and then Seals outfights Hilliard for the ball on the ground.
Big play by Seals, and the Bills with a first down on their 44. Turnovers are all even. Kelly on first down, going deep for Andre Reed, and it's knocked down on a terrific defensive play by Robert Massey. A lot has been said about Massey. They're picking on him a lot this year, but the rookie with 5 interceptions made a great play there.
Well, he really covers well, but he hasn't quite developed the techniques to finish off a play. But maybe he has. Watch as he stays step for step with Andre Reed on the outside here, and then gets his left hand up just in time to knock it away. But Massey has been much maligned this year, but he has a lot of talent, and he is only a rookie.
Second down and 10. Kelly getting pressured, dumps it off to Thurman Thomas. Dave Waymer will wrap him up inside the 40 of the Saints, but not before Thomas gets 18 yards.
Great job of improvising by Thurman Thomas here, as he was supposed to come out on the screen. Normally he would come out here, but all the Saints go out there, so he steps up into the middle. Kelly keeps his eye on him and finds him wide open. He sees that the screen isn't going anywhere, finds a little opening in front of his blockers. Kind of a screen in reverse there, and that's a big play for the Bills.
Best total yardage gainer in the National Football League. First down on the 39 of the Saints. Kelly with a quick toss and a fine catch by Reed. Tough to bring him down. And is stopped at about the 25-yard line by Robert Massey. That time, Reed picked up 14 yards.
Well, the Bills are in their wind at your back offense. In other words, Jim Kelly's going to be airing it out here. 3 passes in a row now. That's an outstanding grab by Reed. Now he's trying to set up Massey, but Massey gets help from the inside from Ricky Jackson.
4 catches, 35 yards for Andre Reed, and a first down for Buffalo on the Saints 25. Thomas. Good power. Thurman Thomas barrels his way to the 20-yard line and gets 5 yards that time.
Coaches like to call this just mushing the ball forward. Give it to your running back right in the middle of the defensive line, and then have all your offensive linemen kind of converge on that spot, and everybody just push or mush.
Today, though, only 69 yards compared to what they have accomplished in their last 4 home games. You can credit the Saints defense for a lot of that. Kinnebrew, the big fullback, gets to the 16-yard line. Gain of that time of 4. It'll be third down and a long one for the Bills. Tied at 19 apiece. At one time, the Saints led 13-0. The Bills then took a 19-16 lead, and after an Anderson field goal, it's been tied ever since. First down, Buffalo.
Sometimes it pays to be predictable when you got a 270-pound fullback in your backfield. Just turn around and hand it to him. How important is this wind? In the second quarter, when the Bills had it at their back, they only had 3 possessions. They scored 1 touchdown and 2 field goals.
That's 3 scores.
In 3 possessions.
9:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. First and 10 on the 13. 2 tight ends for the Bills. Kelly on the play fake. Down he goes. Smart move for Kelly. Frank Warren makes the sack on him. A loss of 3 yards on the play, but the Saints secondary did a blanket job on the Bills receivers.
Well, Kelly wanted to run this ball after a while, but even on a cold day like today, he could feel the hot breath of the Saints defensive line, in particular Geathers and Frank Warren.
Each team has picked up 2 sacks today. Second down and 13. The ball is on the New Orleans 17. Kelly picked off. Troy Cook. It was off Thurman Thomas's hand, I believe, and Troy Cook with the interception And the third turnover of the game for the Saints stopped what looked like an inexorable rally by the Bills here.
This is his second interception for Kelly. This is Thurman Thomas. Again, it's the same type of play where he fakes going out on the screen and then goes down the field. And again, Kelly is victimized by a ball bouncing off one of his receivers and into the hands of the New Orleans Saints. That's a bad throw. Thomas had to do all he could to get up in the air to try to make the grab, but all he did was set it up for Toy Cook and the interception.
Second interception of the year for Toy Cook. First down, Saints on their 15. Hilliard gets about 3 yards. Tackle made by Scott Radisick. So after Hilliard had fumbled, turning it over to Buffalo. Buffalo with the wind at its back starting the fourth quarter. And into the fourth quarter, a key interception here. And now the Saints see what they can do in a tie game.
Now the ball is starting to bounce their way. All year long they've been beaten by big plays defensively. Today they're coming up with them. But there's that 12 points there that Buffalo scored in those 3 possessions in that second period when they had the win at their back.
Second and 7. Forcade completes it to Hobie Brenner, and that'll be enough for a first down to the 26-yard line. Leonard Smith makes the stop. Buffalo has scored 121 points in the fourth quarter. New Orleans hasn't done all that well. In fact, not only in the fourth, but the third quarter as well this season.
But the Buffalo Bills have given up a lot of points in that fourth quarter as well.
First down at the 25. Forcade. Hobie Brenner can't handle it. That'll bring up second down, and you wonder whether the wind affected that toss.
Well, I'm also wondering why the Saints are going to so many drop-back passes lately. They're not moving Forcade out of the pocket as they were earlier. The Bills may have something to do with that because they were effective in that second quarter of blitzing Forcade when he did roll out.
Impressive numbers for John Forcade with his first NFL start since the strike-shortened year of '87. Second down and 10. Handoff. Dalton Hilliard driven back, but his forward motion will carry out to the 29, a gain of 3.
This is how you make All-Pro. Bruce Smith, number 78, fights the double team block here from Tice and Dombrowski, battles right through it and is in on the tackle. Not only do you have to sack quarterbacks, you've got to hold your position at the line of scrimmage in order to make that trip to sunny and warm Honolulu.
4 tackles and 1 sack for Smith. There's Hilliard. They bring him out wide right.
Wide right all the way to the bench.
He's on the right sideline now.
I'm not so sure he's happy about being out of the game. Looked like he wanted to stay in.
Forcade is going to call another timeout. That'll be the second timeout by the Saints in the second half. Well, looking at the way Hilliard longingly was looking at the huddle, he probably didn't understand why he was out of the game.
Only Jim Mora knows why.
Back here in Buffalo, the Saints had called a timeout, and now, after New Orleans sent out a different group of offensive people at the last second, Buffalo then called a timeout themselves. It's their first of the second half. So the chess game between Marv Levy and Jim Mora going on here. This is an interesting story. Dalton Hilliard has outgained the Buffalo Bills rushers 77-75.
Well, Dalton Hilliard went over and told Jim Mora, hey, listen, I've outgained the Buffalo Bills 77-75 all by myself. I think I ought to be in the ballgame. But Marv Levy today, before the game, told me that, listen, we know the Saints are tough to run against, but we're not going to abandon the run. As far as stopping the run, the Saints have gotten the big edge today.
Thurman Thomas has gained only 40 yards. He had over 1,100 coming in. 3rd and 7. And I wonder whether Leon Seals feels he was drawn off by Jim Dombrowski. Again, the Saints had to make a change in the offensive line, moving Dombrowski to tackle and Jeff Walker to guard when Kevin Haverdink came out.
False start, number 72, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Seals came across first, but he did not make contact. Dombrowski came up out of his stance looking to protect his quarterback, and they call it on Dombrowski because Seals did not make contact.
That changes the picture on both sides of the ball, and Jim Morris sends in the extra wide receivers. He should have 4 there now on 3rd and 12. Philadelphia over Dallas 20-10, and scores come your way. Cade going up on top for Martin. He makes the catch, and it'll be a 1st down at midfield. Eric Martin with a 26-yard gain, and a Buffalo defender is shaken up. Mark Kelso made the tackle on a clutch 3rd down and 12 pass.
And Kelso's down after that hit of Martin.
Martin has now caught 4 passes for an even 100 yards.
Martin is number 84 in the slot here, working against Mickey Sutton. And again, Forcade just throws a perfect pass as he lofts it over Hagee's head, and then Kelso has to come across to make the tackle. But this man right here has got the hot hand, and he's letting everybody know about it.
Well, you know, the best game for Bobby Hebert this year was 308 yards against the 49ers. Forcade today, and we still have 6:42 remaining, has thrown for 302 yards. So he's on his way to surpassing Hebert's best.
And in asking Mora about the decision and what he plans for the future, this is not a one-game tryout. Or maybe it is. As well as Forcade is playing, there's no way he won't start the next game, or maybe even the next one after that. So I think the fans in New Orleans have something to talk about as far as their quarterbacks are concerned.
Hebert trying to keep warm with the hood. 1st down at midfield. Carrying the ball is Buford Jordan. And Jordan picks up 11 yards on that clip inside the 40 of Buffalo. And this is a team going into the face of the wind here in the 4th quarter in a 19-19 battle.
And it's hard to figure out what type of range Morten Andersen has in this type of wind. One thing we know for sure, he has more kicks of 50 yards or longer than just about anybody in the NFL, 30 in his career.
1st down on the Bills' 39. Hilliard scoots through a couple of tacklers and picks up 5 yards on that run. Leonard Smith, the strong safety, on the tackle.
Well, the right side of the Saints line, Brock and Hobie Brenner and Trapillo are doing a fabulous job of pushing the Bills back, and then Hilliard, using his eyes, finds the hole and gets up for about 5.
Look at the big edge that the Saints have in the total offense over Buffalo in this half. But we're tied at 19. 2nd down and 5. Buford Jordan gets the 1st down, fights his way with good second effort to the 21-yard line of Buffalo. A gain of 13 for Jordan, and now the Saints are running through the Buffalo Bills with 5:10 remaining.
Well, we talked about the right side of the line. Let's look at the left side. Walker is 78, Dombrowski 72. Good standoff there from Bruce Smith, but the key is the block of the center, Hilgenberg, and how Buford Jordan read it, cut back to the weak side, and picked up a big gain.
1st down on the 21. Saints have scored on 2 early turnovers by the Bills, trying to do it a 3rd time here in the last quarter. Again, they go to Jordan. Jordan gets inside the 15 and picks up 8 yards with some strong, powerful running. Making the tackle was Darryl Talley.
How do you figure it? Here you got a ball game with one team has every reason to play hard and to win the game in the Buffalo Bills. They always win here in Buffalo. The weather is just the way they want it, and the Saints are coming off of 2 demoralizing losses to the Rams and the Lions. How do you figure?
Jordan is shaken up on this drive alone. He has gained 32 yards in 3 carries. That's 10 yards a clip. We'll be back. Jordan was shaken up, still on the sidelines as Craig Hayward has replaced him. Morten Andersen getting ready in case he's called upon to try to break this tie.
One thing Saint ball carriers have to do now is hang on to that ball. Don't try to struggle for too many yardage. The important thing is to keep possession. 2nd and 2 on the 13 of Buffalo. Pitch to Hilliard. Hilliard has the first down and hit hard at the 5 by Dwight Drain, who replaced Mark Kelso, the free safety who was injured a little while ago. But it's a first down and goal for the Saints as we wind down to 4 minutes remaining in this game. Well, you can see the offensive linemen of the Saints. They're pumping their arms in the air. They know that they've taken control of this ball game in this drive. Forcade got the long pass to Eric Martin that set it up, but since that, all they've done is taken that ball and just pounded it straight ahead at the Buffalo defense. 11th play of the drive upcoming. Saints started on the 15 following an interception by Toy Cook. 1st and goal. Hilliard, no gain. Maybe a loss of 1. Fred Smerlas, the veteran nose tackle. As well as they're running the ball now, it wouldn't surprise me if the Saints come with some type of play action where they fake the ball one side and bring Forcade out on a bootleg and give him the option to either run or throw. Carl Smith signaling in the play from the sideline. Hayward and Lonzel Hill come into the game for the Saints. 2nd and goal on the 6. The pitch to Hilliard. Hayward blocking, and Hilliard gets to the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal. That time, Tommy Cofield. Timmy Cofield on the tackle. Yeah, Timmy Cofield, number 90 here, used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs when Levy was the coach there. He remembered him because of this type of strength. One-arm tackle around the neck of Hilliard right down to the turf. Don't tell him I said Tommy first. Well, I might, because I still have a headache from this fella. He knocked me out in a game in Kansas City that I didn't think that phone would ever stop ringing. Tough, big, strong guy. A lot of athletic ability. They're going to let the clock wind down to the 2-minute warning. A big 3rd down play coming up for the Saints, and if they don't make it, they've got Anderson. We'll be back. This drive, an impressive one by the Saints. 12 plays, 81 yards, using up 6.5 minutes. It all started with an interception by Toy Cook from the 15. Now it'll be 3rd down and 4. 3rd and goal from the 4 with 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Forcade fires. Touch. No, it's dropped. It's dropped by Hobie Brenner. He had it and lost it. But he was there, and Forcade had found him. Hobie Brenner, the tight end, after the rollout here from Forcade. And Forcade just throws another perfect pass. Off balance, against the grain. And Forcade can't believe it, and he is out. Morten Andersen will try to break the tie with a 22-yard attempt. With 1:55 to go, and the kick is good. So Morten Andersen has been successful on 3 of 5 tries today, and the Saints
who have led virtually most of the game, trailed one time. Second time half had been tied. It's now 22-19.
Watch this grab by Fourcade. The ball is high. He cradles it, gets it down. Anderson doesn't miss a beat, and he drills it. Nice hold for Fourcade, as he's doing it all today.
Anderson's field goal makes it 22-19, but now the Bills have 1 minute and 53 seconds and 2 timeouts with the wind at their backs to try to get at least in position to tie the game, to send it into overtime or win it. Keep in mind, the Bills came into this game needing a win and a Miami loss tonight against New England to wrap up a division title. Coming up next, the Giants will go against the Denver Broncos, who have already wrapped up the AFC West title. The second half of our doubleheader. Jim Kelly getting set to run his team. Anderson will kick off. Ronnie Harmon and Don Beebe. Back, Beebe on the left.
Jim Kelly will have 2 timeouts to work with as we're at the 1:53 mark.
So the Saints have capitalized on 3 Buffalo turnovers and have scored 17 points off of them. Taken by Beebe. And a good return by Beebe beyond the 30 to the 34-yard line. And that's where the Bills will start with 1:48 showing. 2 interceptions and a fumble have accounted for 17 points by the Saints, 17 of their 22.
And that interception of Toy Cooks was deep in Saint territory there. It looked like the Bills were going to go in for at least 3 points then. Turned away, and the Saints get the 3 and the lead.
It's 16, should say 16 because they missed the conversion, but 3 scores off of 3 turnovers. First down, Kelly. Fires. Pass is caught at the 39-yard line, a gain of 5. It was Beebe who makes the stop.
And remember, at the end of the first half, Kelly took the Bills down for a field goal. That's what he's going to try to do now.
Milton Mack made the stop. Second down and 3. Kelly's pass. Picked off. Interception by Brett Maxey. And that may do it. The 3rd interception of the game by the Saints. And the 4th turnover, and the New Orleans Saints are sitting in the catbird seat, leading 22-19, and they have the ball in Buffalo territory.
Brett Maxey picks up his 3rd interception of the year, and this one is all on Jim Kelly, as he does not see number 39 dropping into this zone. The pass was intended here for Flip Johnson on the curl pattern, and there is Maxey just stretching out. It appeared that Maxey was going to take Johnson's head off anyway. And you just got to give this entire organization of the New Orleans Saints a lot of credit for playing an outstanding game today.
Saints with the ball on the Buffalo 48-yard line. Bills still have 2 timeouts, which they'll use defensively. Dalton Hilliard carries the ball to the 45, and the Bills will call the timeout. They have 1 left. Jim Kelly, who had an off game against Seattle on Monday night, throwing 3 interceptions against the Saints this afternoon.
2 of them really weren't his fault. Actually, one of them wasn't his fault. His very first pass of the day that was picked off. But Jim Kelly is in a bit of a slump here. The weather conditions didn't help him today, but he was clearly outplayed by a guy that not many people expected him to play well, John Fourcade. In fact, Carl Smith told me before the game he really didn't know what to expect. He put it in the words that he said, well, having John Fourcade play quarterback for us today is kind of like having an unopened Christmas present. Well, Merry Christmas, New Orleans Saints. John Fourcade is a very nice gift.
302 yards, 2 touchdown passes for John Fourcade, a native of New Orleans, who broke Archie Manning's records at the University of Mississippi. 2nd down and 7. The Bills likely will call another timeout after this play. Forcade on a quarterback keeper slips and is down back at the 48. And the Bills use up their last timeout. Here's the AFC East story right now. Miami playing New England tonight. Buffalo on their way to a loss. Right now they're a game ahead of Miami. Now the Jets lost, so they're in the cellar. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat them. Now if the Dolphins beat the Patriots tonight, they will go into a tie for first with Buffalo. But keep in mind that in a tiebreaker between those two teams, Bills would have the edge because they beat Miami twice this year.
But the schedule really favors the Miami Dolphins because the Bills have to go on the road their last two. They got to play San Francisco and they've got to play the New York Jets, and they've lost 4 in a row on the road.
Miami with their remaining games at Indianapolis and Kansas City, and the Bills on the road, as you mentioned. As far as the Saints are concerned, despite what appears to be a gutty road win against a tough foe today, their playoff hopes will be dashed. Philadelphia leading Dallas 20-10 in the 4th quarter with under 3 minutes left. And if the Eagles win, that will eliminate the Saints. 3rd down and 10. Bills are out of timeout. Dalton Hilliard tackled at the 46-yard line, 45 of Buffalo. Darryl Talley on the stop. It'll be 4th down, and the Bills cannot stop the clock any longer.
There's about a 13 or 14 second differential between the play clock and the game clock, so the Bills should get the ball back for at least one more play. Saints will run it all the way down before bringing on their punter, giving the ball back to Buffalo.
They got 10 seconds now. But barring a huge mistake and a miracle play by the Bills, the Saints are going to draw even on the year. And a timeout called by the Saints, so each team has used all of their timeouts.
New Orleans, timeout was called with 1 second on the 45-second clock.
You heard it from Dick Jorgensen. They have 1 second left. Well, if you're the Buffalo Bills, all you have to do is look in the mirror, because they had a chance perhaps to get a home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That was a long shot, but they had a chance. Losing to Denver on Monday night, and now losing a home game. They came in 6-1 to the New Orleans team.
And they have one chance right now, and that's to block this punt.
Tom Barnhart going back to kick.
And Barnhart has not had one kick blocked all year, so it's going to be tough for Buffalo.
Mickey Sutton is deep for the Bills. He gets it off. Sutton has to field it, and time will tick off. Sutton goes out of bounds with 6 seconds remaining, and this will be the last shot coming up for the Bills. Well, the Saints, if they can hold on for 6 more seconds, will stretch their consecutive winning streak over AFC teams. The Saints will to 11 in a row. The last time they were beaten by an AFC team was the Miami Dolphins 3 years ago.
Remarkable string, but it really shows you how close the teams really are in the NFL. Not that much difference between an 8-5 team, as the Bills were, and a 6-7 team, as the Saints were.
Bills send 7 defenders, 8 defenders back. Hail Mary time for Kelly. And time runs out and the game is over. So the Bills now are in jeopardy of seeing their division lead evaporating if Miami beats New England tonight. And the Saints have won it. So for Dan Fouts, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long from Rich Stadium. The Saints beat the Bills